Hello everybody, my name is Bricky. I have been MIA for quite some time now. It's mainly because I've been working on a very big project of mine. So no, I am in fact not dead. It will still be a bit before you will see the main project on my main channel, but I did want to make a video discussing the Deathslinger as he has just been released and I've had a decent amount of time with him. I've actually got him to Prestige 1. And well, that's mainly from just saving up a bunch of blood points, but I have a lot of games on him, and I wanted to go ahead and talk mainly about what he feels like, how he feels like, and just some initial impressions of the character himself. Because I was kind of in a spot where I wasn't really interested in playing Dead by Daylight for a while. I actually hadn't touched the game in many months, mainly due to the just enormous gen speed problem currently going down, and then they had the ruin nerf, and it just really felt like it was going in a bad direction. So I decided to kind of get away from it for a bit. But when they showed off this Mr. Yeehaw Man, I realized, oh my, he's really cool. I think I might need to give him a shot. So I've played a lot of games of him, and I must say he is pretty dang fun. Though it's not just about fun, it's also about how good he is. And I wanted to give a little bit of a talk about that. So the Deathslinger right here is a 110 movement speed killer. He has the 110 movement speed terror radius as well, which is the 24 meters. And he has a really cool harpoon gun, or it's like a makeshift harpoon gun, that is a one-shot and required reload weapon that if you can fire it at a survivor, you can immediately reel them in and get a hit off on them. Now, there is like a little bit of a durability meter for the chain, and if the chain snaps, the survivor will be injured, but they will not be downed by it. However, they will be inflicted with deep wound, but you will also be stunned afterwards. Now, you can end the thing early by pressing the left mouse button. However, ending it early will make it so that you do not get the deep wound or the damage off. So basically at the moment, and also, as an FPS player, this thing is not hit scam. This is, in fact, a projectile-based weapon, and it has a roughly, I think, I've heard varying accounts. I've heard 18 meters, I've heard 20 meters, depending on the distance. So this is not an unlimited travel time. It goes for only a certain period of time, and after that period of time, it will just kind of, send its way back like a yo-yo or something like that. So it's a very interesting weapon. As someone who grew up with FPS games for such a long time, knowing whether it's projectile or hit scan is a very important thing. I think any form of hit scan weapon in Dead by Daylight would be a little bit ridiculous. So I'm glad that that's not something that we have to deal with. But with the character, I must say he is really fun. No matter what happens, no matter if he's good or terrible, it doesn't matter. He is a blast. If you're someone like me who plays a lot of FPS games and you've kind of had that itch for Dead by Daylight kind of thing, this is the character. The gun feels great to use. It feels responsive. The actual reloading animation sounds wonderful, and it feels just fair in reload time. Overall, I actually really like the way the gun feels. The only downside is also an upside, which is the hitbox for the actual hook feels like it's too good. It's so good, it's bad. The hitbox, unlike the Huntress, which feels like you're throwing like small semis at people, well, sometimes it feels like you're throwing BBs, but this gun is definitely on the BB gun level things. The hitboxes have gotten extremely precise depending on what exactly I'm firing at. I fired shots through people's legs. I fired shots under armpits and over shoulders and to the left of heads. I gotta say, there's some really bizarre shots you can make with this thing. You can even fire through certain areas of maps like little bits of fences and stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to in other maps. I've been able to snag people's heads right over the top of debris. This thing is extremely pinpoint accurate. However, because of that, it can end up feeling like a detriment because you might shoot a survivor and it goes right underneath their arm. And you think, well, crap, that really was directly on them, but at the same time, it wasn't necessarily. Also, the travel time for this thing really does speed up a decent amount slow down a decent amount depending on the distance. You really need to aim pretty well if you want to go ahead and shoot something from a far distance away. It can be pretty unforgiving at a long distance. At close range, it's basically hit scan, but people who can run around in circles might give you a run for your money. But at long range, you really gotta either lead your shots or have a great read on your opponent. I guess those both kind of go hand in hand, but using the weapon itself, you can pull off some cheeky stuff. You can go ahead and do it over windows as well to pull somebody to a window and hit them, which is very helpful. However, you can't do it with a pallet, which allows for a little bit of counterplay by using a pallet or dropping a pallet early so you don't end up getting hit. I've had survivors try to loot me around pallets, and right as I turn the corner, I do a quick scope, and that quick scope will immediately snag them before they can drop the pallet, which has been super helpful. By angling myself properly, I'm able to pull them around debris so that the chain doesn't snap. There's a very high FPS skill ceiling with this gun, and I'm really excited to see all the strangest synergies you can do with this weapon and all of the shenanigans you can pull off by firing like through the tiny holes in the killer's shack or something. I'm sure there's some crazy shit like that. Honestly, if you have got really good aim, which as by the gameplay you're watching, I sometimes do, sometimes definitely don't, it can be a really rewarding killer. But that does come with its fair share of drawbacks. Being only 110 movement speed is definitely a huge detriment, especially when you seem to slow yourself down by reloading, as I believe you do. That makes you have almost no map pressure of any kind. You have pressure through your just sheer existence, kind of like the Huntress does, but map pressure, you know, Nurse, Spirit, Hillbilly, Oni, no, you don't got any of that. And so I found that my #1 biggest detriment when playing the Deathslinger, I'm just going to call him the Gunslinger from now on, because the Deathslinger is just so edgy. Whenever I use the Gunslinger, it's mainly any issues with generator speeds. Generators get done really fast with this guy. It kind of feels like I'm playing Trapper or Clown or something. And while I do actually have a very nice chance of downing people once I get to them, so long as I'm good enough with the gun, still, it's that getting to them part that can be and prove to be extremely tough. So I generally run a whole bunch of anti-generator perks. Normally things like Discordance, either Ruin or Pop Goes the Weasel. Maybe not Pop because without map pressure, it's a little bit hard to get around. But I generally like, at least right now, I'm enjoying the Discordance, Ruin, Barbecue, and Chili builds. He also has a couple perks that help with that, though I don't plan on covering the perks right now in this video because I haven't used them a whole lot, and it's more about the character. Though, with that lack of map pressure, his ability to set off loops is actually not too difficult either. It just requires line of sight. So long as you've got line of sight, you're actually going to be doing pretty well. But in certain maps, Larry's in particular, you can have a really bad time. Playing a Huntress on Larry's is a rough time. Playing Deathslinger on Larry's is not as rough, but can definitely cause you a bit of pain, so long as you don't know what you're doing. Overall, I must say, the Deathslinger is... I just said that I was going to stop calling him Deathslinger, and here I go calling him Deathslinger again. Overall, he's really fun. Absolutely. I don't know if I'd call him good or not. I'm really in a weird spot because I have lost a couple games. I've lost a few, but most of my matches generally get down to the... It's weird. It either comes down to the end game collapse, where that's where everything finally ends, or I end up winning and they haven't done a single generator. It's one of those two things. I either get absolutely bodied by him, or bodied as him, or I do the bodying. It's either 4 kills or no kills. It's really weird with this guy. I'm not quite sure if that's just maybe my perks weren't that good, or there's some kind of strange reason for it. But either way, how he operates, what he does, it's bizarre. And I found that once I got the hang of him, once I really started putting down the gunshots, I was never losing. I was just dumpstering people. And so long as I can keep that up, this guy's gonna be pretty solid, I think. But the only thing that he really struggles with is as that aforementioned generator problem. And so long as those generators are as fast as they are, so long as there's no real way to stop survivors from bum rushing them in the beginning of the game, I think he's going to struggle a little bit, at least at the high ranks. He might demolish the low ranks pretty well, but at the high ranks, I think he's going to be struggling pretty tough. However, I kind of don't care. He's almost too fun for me to give a shit. And I guess it's a good thing where I can lose and still enjoy myself. Of course, you know, this is day 1. Well, he was in PTB, but this is like day 1, day 2 kind of stuff here. I might eventually find out that he's godly and he's the best killer in the game. I don't think he will be, as long as he lacks map pressure. But yeah, you know, he's a good time. He's a really good time. And I like how much skill you can have with using his weapon properly. Knowing what spots can really add up to the extra amounts of damage. I'm glad that you don't have to hit them in order to proc your actual damage state. You know, if you're firing at a healthy survivor, you can let them break the chain, see how much you give a shit. That's a deep wound in an injured state right there. That can be pretty handy dandy against them damn city folk. Also, I mean, come on, he's a cowboy. Like, how can I not like a harpoon fishing, like Bass Pro Fishing 2003 combined with Fallout New Vegas? It's pretty great. So I'm going to be probably playing him a lot more. I mean, right now I'm going through a Fallout New Vegas playthrough on Twitch, but I'm probably going to get at least one more game going, or at least one more stream of Deathslinger going, and I may even make a case file on this guy. No promises. I didn't make an Oni one, because Oni was rather disappointing to me. After he came out, I was just like, this is not what I like right now. So we'll have to see. No promises are made. However, who knows? I am having a lot of fun, so I don't want to necessarily, you know, give you any hope, but we'll see. Anyway, Deathslinger, yeah, he has got some crazy stuff. I don't necessarily think he's going to be amazing. However, he has a damn bit of fun, and I will try to do my best to make him work, even if he is not going to be a top tier player or character. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you sometime soon. Bye-bye.